Did you know the Bible specifically names the ancestor of all European nations? His name was Japheth, and the prophecy spoken over him 4,000 years ago is still unfolding today. What I'm about to show you will change how you see European history forever. The evidence is undeniable. After the Great Flood, Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. These 3 men would become the fathers of all nations on earth. But Genesis chapter 10, known as the Table of Nations, gives us something extraordinary, a detailed genealogy showing exactly which peoples came from which son. Today, we're focusing on Japheth, because according to the Bible, he is the direct ancestor of European peoples. And before you think this is just ancient mythology, wait until you see how modern linguistics, genetics, and archaeology confirm what the Bible said thousands of years ago. But first, you need to hear the prophecy that was spoken over Japheth. In Genesis 9:27, Noah speaks a prophecy over his son Japheth. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. This is massive. The Hebrew word for enlarge, Japheth, means to expand, to spread out, to increase in territory and influence. When you look at European history, the colonial expansion, the spread of European culture across continents, the dominance of European languages, this prophecy has been fulfilled in ways Noah couldn't have imagined. But it gets deeper. Genesis 10:2-5 lists Japheth's 7 sons, Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. Each of these names corresponds to specific peoples and regions that we can trace historically. Let me show you. Gomer, ancient historians like Josephus identified Gomer's descendants as the Sumerians, who settled in what is now Germany and France, the Germanic tribes. His son Ashkenaz gives us the Ashkenazi peoples of Eastern Europe. Magog, the Scythians, who settled north of the Black Sea in what became Russia. Josephus explicitly connects Magog to the Scythians in his historical writings. This is crucial because Ezekiel 38 mentions Gog of the land of Magog, a prophecy many scholars believe points to Russia in the end times. Madai, the Medes. These Indo-European peoples spread throughout ancient Persia and are connected to the broader Indo-European migration into Europe. The Medes are mentioned 17 times in Scripture, confirming their historical significance. Javan, this is the Hebrew word for Greece. The Ionians, the Greeks, the Mediterranean European peoples. Even the Romans acknowledge their connection to Javan's lineage through ancient trade records and historical documentation. Tubal, ancient historians place Tubal's descendants in the Iberian Peninsula, modern Spain and Portugal. Some also connect them to the Caucasus region based on archaeological findings. Meshech, the Muscovites. Moscow. The linguistic connection is right there in the name. These peoples settled in what became Russia and Eastern Europe. Tiras, the Thracians who inhabited the Balkans, modern Bulgaria, Romania, parts of Greece and Turkey. Historical records confirm the Thracian civilization in these exact regions. Now here's where it gets really interesting. The Bible didn't just list names, it predicted their future. Remember Genesis 9:27? God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Look at history. European nations expanded across the entire globe. European languages dominate: English, Spanish, French, Portuguese, Russian. European culture spread to every continent. The colonial era was the literal enlargement of Japheth. But the second part is even more profound. He shall dwell in the tents of Shem. Shem's descendants include the Hebrews, the Jewish people. The tents of Shem represent the spiritual heritage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the covenant lineage. And what happened? Christianity, rooted in Jewish messianic prophecy, spread throughout Europe. Europeans dwelt in the tents of Shem spiritually through accepting the Jewish Messiah and the Hebrew Scriptures. This 4,000-year-old prophecy predicted European Christianization with stunning accuracy. Now, skeptics might say this is just religious interpretation, but modern science backs this up. Linguistics. The Indo-European language family connects Sanskrit, Persian, Greek, Latin, Germanic, and Slavic languages. A 2015 study published in Nature by researchers at the Max Planck Institute traced these languages back to a common ancestral language from the Caucasus region, exactly where Genesis places Japheth's descendants after the ark landed on Mount Ararat. Genetics. DNA haplogroup studies, particularly research on R1a and R1b haplogroups published in the American Journal of Human Genetics, show migration patterns from the Caucasus spreading into Europe during the exact time frame biblical chronology suggests. Archaeology. Excavations in the Caucasus region have uncovered settlement patterns and artifacts confirming the movement of peoples from the Near East into Europe, following the exact migration paths Genesis 10 describes. Historical records. Josephus, writing in the 1st century A.D., documented these connections in detail. He explicitly identified Japheth's sons with European peoples, providing a historical bridge between biblical text and recorded history. The Bible got it right thousands of years before modern science confirmed it. But there's one more prophecy about Japheth's descendants that's unfolding right now. Remember Magog? Ezekiel 38:2 says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, of the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal." Now look at a map. Magog equals the Russia region, the Scythian territory. Meshech equals the Moscow area. The name connection is undeniable. Tubal equals the Caucasus and eastern regions. Ezekiel 38 and 39 describe a future invasion led by these nations. Many biblical scholars believe this prophecy points to a future conflict involving Russia and surrounding nations in the end times. Whether you believe in end times prophecy or not, it's remarkable that the Bible connected these specific descendants of Japheth, identified 4,000 years ago, to future geopolitical events. The Table of Nations in Genesis 10 wasn't just ancient history, it was prophetic geography. So there you have it. The biblical origin of Europeans, traced through Japheth, confirmed by history, linguistics, genetics, and archaeology. The prophecy of enlargement fulfilled. The dwelling in Shem's tents realized through Christianity. Here's my question for you. What's your ancestry? Do you trace back to Japheth's line? Drop a comment below. If this blew your mind, subscribe, because next week I'm covering the origin of African nations according to the Bible, Ham's descendants, and the prophecies spoken over them. You won't want to miss it. The Bible is more than a religious text. It's a historical record that continues to prove itself accurate. See you in the next one.